They are telling you what race of people were these immortals, supernatural beings who ruled over the universe, guys. Yes, upon this mountain, it was the Negro that was there. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to reveal to you a little known history about, well, the Negro. Okay, that's what this whole channel is about, so you shouldn't be surprised to hear that although this video is about China, it's actually about the Negro, guys. Okay, because the truth is, the Negro is world history. You know, it's something I've said before in I think a few of my other videos. It is impossible to separate the Negro from world history, because all these empires, whether it's the Caucasian empires, the Asian empires, many other empires that exist in history, you cannot separate them from the Negro, guys, including Egypt. Just in case you are wondering, the Egyptians were not Negroes, but the Negroes had a massive role to play in why Egypt became a world empire like it did back in the day, guys. Okay, so this video, we are going to a part of the world in China known as Kunlun Mountain, guys, and I want to reveal to you who were the very powerful people who were living on this mountain. Kunlun Mountain is a very important part of Chinese history. In fact, look at what Google says about Kunlun. Okay, so look at this. What are Kunlun Mountains known for? This is Google, right? Look at what it says. In mythology, Kunlun Mountain is the birthplace and ancestral place of the Chinese nation. So it's a very important piece of land, piece of history for Chinese people. And don't worry about their attempts to convince you that this is a myth. It's not a myth, guys. So I'm going to start off with this book on the screen called On the Knowledge Possessed by the Ancient Chinese of the Arabs and the Arabian colonies and other Western countries, mentioned in Chinese books by E. Bert Schneider. Okay, this book was published in the year, as you can see right here, 1871. So it's not some book that was written yesterday. Let's go to page 14 within this book, guys. I want you guys to learn about the people of Kunlun. Okay, let's see who they were. All right, so here we are on pages 14. As you can see right here, I'm on page 14. I want you to see what this book from 1871, I believe, says about Kunlun, okay, and the people who were there, okay, because there is some conflicting information, but by the end of this video, you will see once and for all what race of people were the ones who were in this place, Kunlun, guys. Kunlun is a celebrated mountain of the Chinese, mentioned in the most ancient Chinese works. Yeah, because this is the birthplace of the Chinese nation, guys. Keep that in mind. Very important piece of Chinese history. Now let's keep going. And especially in the Shanghai King or Hill and River Classic, attributed to Emperor Yu 22 centuries before our era. Look at what it says about the mountain now. This mountain, Kunlun Mountain, is called the Olympus of China. Think about it, guys. Okay, in Greek mythology, you have Olympus, Mount Olympus, where the gods lived. Okay, that's what Mount Olympus was known for. Okay, we had gods like Zeus and many others. They have many names. I can't go into all the names, but many other gods were living on this mountain. And in China, China had its own Olympus too, and there were people living there, guys. Okay, very powerful stuff. Now I want you to see, because sometimes in history, Caucasian writers and other writers of other races always try very quickly to disassociate the Negro from many parts of world history. Okay, and we're going to see that right here in this passage. Look at this right here, guys. Mr. H. Shalangin, I cannot pronounce this name, guys. It's a very strange name to me. Shalangin, something like that. The explorer of the Himalayas mountains and Tibet, received the Russian surname Sakunlunsky. But look at what it says next, okay? But the Negro slaves from Kunlun, reportedly mentioned in ancient Chinese books, do not belong, as Mr. A. Remusat believed in former times, to the population of the Kunlun Mountains in Central Asia. So this guy right here, Mr. A. Remusat, believed that the population of the Kunlun Mountain, this place that was the birthplace of the Chinese nation, were Negroes. Look at it right here. But the Negro slaves from Kunlun reportedly mentioned in ancient Chinese books, do not belong, as Mr. A. Ramusat believed in former times, to the population of the Kunlun Mountains in Central Asia, but refer to men of the black race. Okay, so this writer knows that yes, the people who were living there were black people, but he's saying no, it's not the Negro. Okay, let's keep going. But refer to men of the black race from the Himalayan archipelago. So the point I'm trying to show you is that even though the writer right here in this place, this man named Mr. H, I cannot pronounce his last name, tries to disassociate the Negro from Kunlun Mountain, he still believes that the people that were here were a black race of people, right? Now let's see another book, guys. A book that talks about this same mountain. Remember, the Olympus of China, a very important part of Chinese history, guys. Kunlun Mountain, the birthplace of the Chinese nation. Now let's go over here. Look at this right here now. We're in this book called The Magical Kunlun and Devil Slaves. Devil Slaves, guys. Look at what it says. Chinese perception of dark-skinned people and Africa. Why is he mentioning Africa? Before the 1500s by Julie Wilensky. Okay, this was published when 2002. It's not very old, but yeah. Let's see what it says on pages 2, guys, of the same book. Look at what it says. The first chapter of this paper seeks to explain how Chinese people perceive these black slaves. Now the black slaves here are Negro slaves, okay, by analyzing representations of people with dark skin in fictional and non-fictional sources from the 5th century through the Song dynasty, tracing the evolution of the meanings and connotations of the term Kunlun. Okay, we're going back to that mountain again. Kunlun Mountain, that's the name of it. Okay, so look at what it says. This mysterious and poorly understood word first applied to dark-skinned Chinese and then expanded over time to encompass multiple meanings, all connoting dark skin. Okay, so the guy is telling us that no, the people who were known as Kunlun, that they were dark-skinned Chinese people. Now, the word Chinese can either be used racially or regionally. Okay, if Chinese is being used regionally, then yes, the people of Kunlun, which was the birthplace of China, yes, you can call them Chinese. But what is the race? Okay, we're going to read one more book, guys. This book is going to reveal to you who the true inhabitants of Kunlun Mountain were, what race of people. Okay, the last one says that, oh, the Negro slaves who were there, they were not related to the, the original black inhabitants of Kunlun Mountain. Well, check out this one now, guys. Here we are in this book called The Asiatic Journal and Monthly Register for British and Foreign India, China and Australasia. Okay, this is volume 10 of the book. Okay, it was published in the year 1833. Okay, 1833, at least 40 years before the previous two that I showed you guys. 1833. Let's see what it says about Kunlun now. So here we are on pages 265 of the book, The Negroes of Kunlun. Now, Kunlun is an alternative spelling of the word Kunlun. Okay, Kunlun is a more modern version of it, but it's actually the same pronunciation. In English, we might call it Kunlun, but I believe in the Chinese or in Mandarin, whichever language they speak, it's still called Kunlun. Okay, so it says The Negroes of Kunlun. Okay, let's see what it's talking about. The name of Kunlun is given by the Chinese to a lofty chain of mountains. The Chinese name of Kunlun is given more especially to its eastern portion, which appears to be the most elevated, lofty peaks covered with perpetual snow, situated principally between the large bends made by the Huangzhou before it first enters China. Now look at this right here, guys. Let's get to the point. It is upon Mount Kunlun that Chinese mythologists, okay, they like to use this title. Oh, but it's just a myth. It's not true, but let's see what the myth is, guys. It is upon Mount Kunlun that Chinese mythologists place the abode of the immortals, okay? Abode of the immortals, guys, and of the supernatural beings who rule the universe. Okay, so upon this Mount Kunlun, it was believed by many Chinese people that the people who lived on that mountain were immortals, the abode of immortals, supernatural beings who ruled over the universe. That's crazy stuff, guys. Okay, so look at what it says next, guys. Okay, we had, however, never heard in Europe that these fabulists peopled this celebrated mountain. With who? With the black inhabitants of the Negro race, guys. They are telling you what race of people were these immortals, supernatural beings who ruled over the universe, guys. Yes, upon this mountain, it was the Negro that was there. Now, why would people from Europe know this? Well, here's the thing, guys. Despite the attempts by Caucasians to deceive you into believing that Europe and Asia are separate continents, the truth is they are one, guys. Yes, okay, Europe and Asia are not separate. I don't know why they keep teaching people these lies in schools that Europe is a separate continent. It is not, guys. Okay, Europe is a part of Eurasia, okay, because they are one body. So the people in Europe, they knew that mountain, that celebrated Kunlun Mountain. They knew that it was black inhabitants of the Negro race, guys. Okay, very powerful piece of history. And don't worry about their attempts to convince you that this is a myth. It's not a myth, guys. During this time in history of Asia, the Negro were ruling over so many lands, ruling over Europe, ruling over Asia, ruling over many other parts of the world, guys. Yes, the Negro. Okay, but what happened? Why is it that we no longer hear about these black inhabitants of the Negro race who are ruling over the universe? Why don't we hear about them today? Well, that's because the Negro race are the Israelites. The Israelites keep the Torah. The Most High blesses them and exalts them above the Gentiles. If the Negro breaks the Torah, the Most High makes his enemies, the Gentiles, rise above the Negro and brings the Negro down below. This stuff is in the Bible, and I will show it to you guys on the screen so you can see what actually happened, not only in China but also in Europe and many other parts of the world, guys. Okay, including Africa as well. The Arab invasion of Africa is actually what brought Africa down to this low, desolate state that it is in now, guys. Yes, okay, and the Most High sent the Arabs against the Negroes in Africa because the Negroes were breaking the Torah. If the Negroes keep the Torah, the Most High will exalt them above all the nations. But if the Negroes break the Torah, the Most High will bring them below all the nations, okay? Which is why we today, the Negro race, are at the bottom. Very important piece of Asian history that you will never learn of in schools, guys, okay? You'll never learn this stuff. They keep things like this from the Negro because they don't want to inspire you to be great, to achieve greatness for your God and your race. They don't want that, guys. They want you to stay believing that you have no history, that you are just a monkey swinging on trees in Africa, which is a filthy lie, guys. Okay, filthy lie. If the Negroes in Africa were once great, just like the ones in Asia, the ones in Europe and many other parts of the world achieved greatness when they kept the Torah. But the second we start breaking the Torah, the Most High turns against us and he sends our enemies against us, guys. Okay, that is a very important piece of information for every single Negro today to know, guys. Okay, very powerful stuff. All right, guys, that is it for me. I will see you on next video. Peace.